can see, I glued on the top last night, so that's done, and it's worked out well. I'm just finishing off the epoxy around the edges, and I've got that finished. I sanded that yesterday to a 320 grit finish, so it's very glass-like now, which is quite exciting. So it's all coming in, and once I get this little topper, once I get the topper finished off, then I'll mount that onto the top, and then it's all down to finishing off the sides and then hooking up the electrics. And I've already had the electrics dry fit together, so I know that they all work the way that I want them to. And yeah, it's all coming together. And so it's essentially the piece is finished in my mind. I'm just doing the little details. For one final detail in these on the onyx lamp, I decided while I was finishing it that I would follow through with the detail that I had originally intended to do on the original design, and that is to incorporate fluting into these chamfered panels. And if you refer back to the thumbnail and the picture that I had posted before on the inspiration for this lamp, it was a brass banker's lamp that I have, and it has the beautiful fluted column. And I wanted to do the similar kind of fluting on these, just on the chamfers. So as you can see, I've already done one here. It's just a very shallow fluting, and I think it's quite effective. It catches the light nicely. And as I go through the finishes, then the syrup between them, each of the flutes will become more defined. And I think that's just finishes it off just nice. I think it's just the right kind of detailing for the lamp. It just gives it that little bit of sophistication. So just thought I'd show roughly how I'm doing it. So based it on I based it on the on a center line. And then I laid it out from there, and so I divided it up into six flutes. So the center one is based on the center line, top to bottom, and then each one corresponds out from there. Top being 1.5 inches, the bottom being 7/8. That's in inches. And I think I had mentioned before in the very first video, I hadn't actually said this with words, but I just put it in with text. But this material, which is referred to as onyx, is in fact, technically speaking, a calcite.
What?
but they market it as an onyx. So rather than not confuse people, I've been referring to it as onyx, but technically speaking, it's not as hard as a true onyx. But true onyx is so rare. For people that aren't familiar with where materials come from, true onyx is only actually technically found in 2 countries in the world, and that's Italy and in Brazil, according to the Smithsonian Institute. Who am I to argue with them? Or it's not as hard as true onyx, but they market it as onyx because being their limited supply and the luxury status that's associated with onyx, and since this has many of the same properties as onyx, it's I guess a viable sandpaper replacement for it. And it's just a coarse, like a 120 grit wet dry sandpaper, and that's all you need. It's actually quite a soft material when it comes to that. And it's funny because it's crystalline in structure. It's very chippy for working with a chisel. And it's actually quite hard for a chisel. It doesn't cut like it does with let's say with a marble. What I'm doing here is just defining these the flutes on these chamfers just a little bit deeper. They were designed to be shallow. That was the whole idea, but I want the syrups to be nicely defined so that they catch the light. That's one of the last details for this piece. So at this point, I'm almost finished. It's just getting it the way that I want it. So it might seem like my content is the same repetitive thing over and over again. But the reason why I'm filming a lot of the same thing is because it takes a lot of time to make one item. But each item that I'll make will be very, very different. So if you continue to follow along and come back to see more of my videos, you'll see a great variety. Because I love variety. I love making high quality things that I enjoy, things that excite me. And this is just one of the ideas that I've come up with, but you know, there's an infinite amount of ideas floating around in my head all the time. But you won't find any fast TikTok style time lapses here, as everything that I do takes time. A lot of people don't have patience for that these days, but it's what's necessary in order to make something of quality. I find it quite therapeutic. I quite enjoy getting lost in a job. You know, I could do this for weeks. There's not a lot of people that could, I know that. I think for most people, they wouldn't have the patience for it, but I guess I'm just unique. Because I quite enjoy it. I wouldn't want to do this every day. I do like variety. That's why I like what I do, is every job is just so different. I've never done two jobs the same. The only time we ever did anything repetitive was we had one client come to us and challenge us with making two identical mantles facing each other at opposite ends of the house. And he wanted to see how identical they could be. In the end, he ended up finding 3 millimeters of variation between the two mantles. So I think that was pretty successful. But other than that, every job is just so different. The scope, the scale, the materials that we work in. It's a lot of fun. It's been an exciting journey. I'll tell you, quarter century just flies by. In a lot of ways, I feel like I've just started. Always learning new things. Like stone keeps us on our toes. You can't get arrogant with it. It won't allow you to. It's the beauty of working with stone is the stone dictates how you're to approach it. And when you try to force it in any one way, it'll remind you very quickly how wrong you were. So I'm hoping the audio works out. This is a new camera that I've been trying out. It's not the most expensive one by any means. And in a lot of ways, my cell phone is a better package. It's got better audio. So I apologize for the questionable audio. So let me know in the comments below if you like this kind of content or not. I'm not getting a lot of feedback from people, and I'm assuming that's because people don't have active channels. But if you are interested in this kind of content, or if you'd like to see other types of content, by all means, throw me a challenge or throw me a suggestion. I'd love to hear what people have to say. I'm really interested in building up a community, and I know it takes a long time, and I've maybe been a little bit anxious about doing so, but I'm really hopeful that people of like-minded qualities find this channel and find some information or joy. I'll try to increase in the entertainment value. I actually have a pretty good sense of humor. It might seem that I'm a little bit dry, but I'm not entirely used to the camera stuff. It's a bit of a learned skill, becoming confident on the camera. I've never been good in front of cameras. I got a lot of respect for people that are naturals in front of the camera, because in the mind it seems simple. Oh, I could do that. But in reality, as soon as that old record button's pressed, people like me end up looking like a deer in headlights. I think that's looking pretty snazzy. It's subtle, just the right amount.